What's up, everybody? Ash and Sybe here for the Triple S League, and today we're going to be talking about what is next for BioWare. Anthem is on life support. It's not doing well. They've trashed their long-term plans for the game, and they're changing up the model of what they're going to do there. Now, Sybe and I were at a convention recently where there was a BioWare booth there, and several BioWare employees, and what we noticed is Anthem is really not front and center anymore at all. They had one banner for it that was kind of off to the side of the booth, and other than that, there wasn't much to be seen. I mean, on the tables, they had postcard things that they did have Anthem ones, but those were right beside Mass Effect and Dragon Age ones.
You remember a few years ago when kind of Anthem was on the horizon, and
yeah, this exact booth last year was all Anthem. All Anthem. Now, they had figurines in glass cases of characters from Mass Effect and Dragon Age, but you could barely find anything having to do with Anthem at all. And BioWare seems to have lost hope in it, just based on the fact that there was no marketing for it, no merch for it, just a few little free giveaways, basically.
Yeah, now that's what you would expect to hear, but they're saying, no, actually, this does have a potential, and this does have a future. And you're going to be saying, well, in what universe? It's basically in the universe of they're needing to field test a whole bunch of ideas for future games, and they're actually turning Anthem into basically a running beta for future games, for future content, for marketing and experimentation systems, as well as, and this is a big one, as well as gameplay upgrades, alterations, new modes, different kinds of quests, all this kind of stuff. And you're going, wait, what? Why would they be testing this stuff? Because right now, EA as a whole doesn't have anything like this, with the exception of Battlefront, and Battlefront is the only thing that's really comparative to this, and even that's a little on the dry side. So they're wanting to do this with a more RPG focused thing, and that's what this is. This is them testing different elements of RPG. One of the biggest things that they've been telling everybody is that if you don't think Anthem's very good and you have ideas, they want you on their forums. They want you on the forums to talk about what you don't like about the game, to talk about what you do want about the game, and to pitch that as often as possible. Anthem is basically now a playground for both players and developers to try new ideas. And in order to do that, they have to fix a lot of the programming and a lot of the core problems with the game, just generally speaking. And if they can monetize it in any way, shape, or form enough that it's at least kind of self-sustaining, then they're happy with this. The game basically doesn't have a point other than this. And they need to experiment with something that is that looter shooter, because they believe that this has potential. Shooters haven't gone away. They're just getting more and more popular in general. Anthem may never be a big hit, period. However, the ideas and the things that they learn from Anthem might. And some of those things might be new game modes and new ways to play, new RPG systems, new systems for character progression that just haven't been thought of yet. Both EA and a good chunk of people that are working on this at BioWare kind of are under the same impression, that this is going to be experimentation for going down the line. And they're really asking, and this is something that we did get while at the convention and while talking to the staff directly in a public forum, is that if you have ideas, please come and tell us, because we need and we want ideas. We want to hear what the community wants, and they're actively interested in seeing where they can take the game and seeing if they can turn that around.
How well are they paying these QA testers, essentially?
Well, they're not. They're making...
They're not. It doesn't seem very fair to the players, you know. There must be people still playing it because they enjoy it. Like, why else would they keep playing it, right? Mm-hmm. Even if it's a small group of people, somebody out there enjoys this game. It seems a little underhanded to turn your player base into a bunch of glorified QA people. But anyway, putting that aside for the moment, what then is the future of BioWare? I mean, obviously, if they're going to be continuing to develop Anthem in any direction, obviously, that means BioWare is going to be sticking around. Plus, we know they're working on another Dragon Age game. So what's the prognosis for the studio, though?
So a couple of things that we've discovered on this, one being that there's actually a couple projects that are being worked on right now. Now, one of them is not going to be very surprising. We kind of figured that as much, and that is that they're already working on the next Mass Effect game. That's, again, not very surprising. They have a whole big group, obviously, working on the new Dragon Age game. But we also have discovered that they're also working on, looks like, 2 other titles that are not Dragon Age, that are not Anthem, and that are not Mass Effect.
And 2 beyond that.
Yeah, we don't know where any of these stand or where they line up as far as how far along they are. But it's interesting to see that they're actually working on a lot of stuff. But EA has canceled studios before while they were working on a lot of stuff. So what's different about this one? What's different between BioWare and any of the other studios that have been foreclosed on? The big thing we can kind of point out on this is that BioWare has been given this enormous, big section of a brand new, very expensive building, and they've been given 3 whole floors. And these 3 whole floors are massive. They are very large, and they are very busy, and they have a lot of staff in them. And that this is no small purchase either. This is not something that I had feared originally, that basically this could be a way that if Anthem didn't roll out very well, that they could shutter the studio basically with a smooth cut. This is not it. I've done some investigating into the building. I've done some investigating into the function of it, and basically this is a huge buy. This is a massive investment into BioWare. And as some of the staff have said, and as some of the contacts over at EA have said, they're not making this investment into BioWare for nothing. And they're not doing it so that they can close down the studio in a year. So this to me says that I don't think, and I don't believe, that the studio right now is in an imminent threat of closure. In fact, I don't think this studio is going to close, period. Now, will BioWare be punished for, a bad game? Absolutely. And I think this is where some of the other contacts have come in and said, basically, if things don't go well with the next Dragon Age, they're pretty much going to restructure the company significantly. We're talking team leads, we're talking upper team people, and we're talking a complete re-roll as far as some departments go. There appears to be a definite push towards stabilizing BioWare and having them develop RPGs for a long period of time. I rang a couple of employees today asking about the whole stance on the whole monetization thing, loot boxes, that kind of stuff, live service and all that kind of stuff. And they're not oblivious to what's been going on in England, what's been going on in the States, and what's been going on in a couple other places. They know that at any moment they might have to pump out a bunch of games that have 0 monetization in them, or at least not the same kind of monetization that we've seen from a lot of these games currently. And they'd have to be really stupid to not have a backup plan. And what I'm being told is that they do have a backup plan, and that some stuff that's been going on at BioWare is one of EA's main backup plans. BioWare basically is being put forward as a permanent studio. They're really interested in making sure that the studio continues to make games, and that if things fail, we're not going to see them shuttered. We're going to see shakeups at the studio.
All right, so you've sort of answered this next question a little bit, talking about how there might be shakeups and restructuring coming. But my next question was going to be, what's going to change down the road so that they don't keep getting these massive flops like Andromeda and Anthem?
I think this is where we have basically the sword of Damocles it's not hanging over the studio anymore. Right now it is hanging over individuals at the studio.
Okay.
And this is I think how they're going to be pushing this to function better. They're going to be pushing for leadership to do a better job.
Now, is there anything that EA needs to change in their management of BioWare, and are they going to do those things in order to let BioWare produce better games?
So they need to change basically everything, and they're not going to change a dang thing.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
They're just going to be like, so if the next game is crap, they're just going to be like, it's your fault, and we're just going to get new people in there and do better.
EA has never changed. They are the same slime balls that have been there from the very beginning, and they're more than happy to stay there.
All right, thank you so much, Saib, for your work on this and looking into all of this info, giving us some insight onto the potential future of BioWare. So we're not expecting the studio to go anywhere. Things might change, but it doesn't look like EA is planning to axe the studio as we have speculated in the past that they might. But will it ever return to being the company that it once was? That has yet to be seen, but the prognosis still isn't great for that. We can hope, I suppose. But anyway, thank you so much for that, and thank you all for listening. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, tune into the podcast this week where we'll talk a little more about this and all of the latest gaming news. Thank you so much. We will talk to you soon. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, sub, and hit that notification bell, and then check out some of these other videos. Find the link to our Discord server and other important stuff in the description below.
Rotated.